Sometimes life doesn't test us by asking us to run faster. It tests us by asking us not to quit when things are hard, when they don't go as planned. And if you feel tired, discouraged, and willing to quit, even though you haven't hit your target yet, I want you to stick with me today, because today I'll be sharing a story with you about a man called John Stephen Akhwari. His story might change your perspective about quitting. Hi guys, welcome again to your safe space to refresh your mind and uplift your heart. I'm Damilola Ife-Bolade. Here I share everyday tips to help you build a sound mind and a joyful life. Back to my story. John Stephen Akhwari is a Tanzanian former marathon runner, best known for his unforgettable performance at the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City. John wasn't just any marathon runner. He was an Olympic caliber. This man had won marathons across Africa, running in times under 2.5 hours. That's the elite level endurance, you know. He qualified for the Olympics easily. But in 1968, when he got to Mexico City for the Olympic Games, he met a challenge he had never faced before, and that's the altitude. Mexico City sits over 7,000 feet above sea level. The air is thin, and for Akhwari, that meant several cramping in his legs, the kind that locks your muscles up and refuses to let go. But he kept going until around the 19-kilometer mark, when things got worse. John collided with another runner. He fell hard, dislocated his knee, bruised his shoulder, blood on his skin, pain everywhere. At that point, most people would have stopped. Maybe I would have stopped. Honestly, if he had stopped, nobody would have blamed him. I wouldn't blame him anyway. But guess what? John didn't stop. He bandaged his knee, stood back up, and kept running. Actually, no, he kept limping. Step by step, step by painful step, he covered the remaining miles long after the race had technically ended. By the time he reached the stadium, the medals were already handed over. The sun had set. The crowd had thinned. But still, he finished. When the reporter asked him why he didn't just quit, John said something really important. He said, "My country did not send me here 5,000 miles to start the race. They sent me 5,000 miles to finish it." When I first heard that story, I felt it in my chest. Because let's be honest, life can feel like that marathon sometimes, can't it? We start out strong. We make plans, we set goals, we promise ourselves new habits, new year resolutions. We run well for a while, but somewhere along the way, we fall. We hit our feet. We burn out. We get tired. We lose motivation. And it's so tempting to think, well, I guess the race is over. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just time to slow down. Maybe it's time to bandage your knee. Maybe it's time to catch your breath and remind yourself it's not always about being perfect. It's about purpose, why you started the race. And here's what you need to really know. Our brains are wired to keep going when we are connected to meaning. That is purpose. When you remember why you started, your body responds differently. Purpose literally changes the way we experience endurance. It's not about pushing through blindly. It's about knowing what you are running for. So let me ask you today, what's your marathon right now? Is it your health, your relationship, healing, or a goal you've been working quietly on? That's okay. If you've slowed down, that's okay too. But don't forget, never forget why you started. And don't be afraid to finish, even if you are the last one crossing the line. I want to remind you, John didn't finish with cheers or medals. He finished with meaning. And that's what he's remembered for the most today. Remember, sometimes the bravest thing you can do for your brain, for your body, for your life is to keep going. Simply keep going. So, if this story encouraged you, please do well to share with someone who needs a reminder today. And thank you for sticking with me till now. I'll see you in the next one. Remember, I'm rooting for you always. Bye for now.